recording and we're heading off.
There we go. It's loading.
Go. This is really
Look at all these beautiful people.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott,
Hey, Jimmy.
Jonathan, Debbie, Heidi, Jill,
Come on.
Julie.
You drinking
Hi,
already,
Chris.
Todd? Jeez.
Hi, Chris.
Adam, are you in a suit and
Drink.
tie at home? Adam, are you in a suit and tie at home?
Hello, hey Jill.
How are you?
Great. I'm here with Paris. Come quick. Oh, it's Ethan. It's not Paris.
No, it's just me, people.
Hi, Paris.
Oh, there's
Hey,
Paul.
Todd. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Peter.
Hi, hi.
Catherine, hi.
There's Dennis.
Yeah, that's right there.
DGIF.
They were just.
I think everyone's in. Before we start, I'm just going to run through some house cleaning items.
I know that voice.
Marsha, for the purposes of this amazing event, because we have so many people on this Zoom meeting, I will be muting you all unless you actually have a speaking role. I do want to know that you do have the ability to rename yourselves. So if you logged in under a phone number and you want to change your name, you can do that. In terms of this meeting, it is being recorded. We're recording it in two different styles. One is gallery view and one is active speaker view. If you'd like to watch the gallery view, you have it. You haven't set up the settings yet. On the upper right-hand side of your computer, you can go back and forth between an active speaker role and the gallery view. And I think that's it. So with that, I'm going to hand this over to
Todd.
our amazing mayor, Jill Hoffman.
Good evening and welcome to our celebration of Adam Politzer, the longest serving Sausalito City Manager in the millennium.
Hey.
To kick us off, I shall issue a proclamation from the city of Sausalito. Would you all please rise and stand at attention?
Standing.
Anyway, on with the proclamation. Whereas a proclamation of the City Council of the City of Sausalito recognizing the hard work of City Manager Adam Politzer. Whereas Adam, a native Sausalitan, born and raised in Sausalito, California, attending local schools and graduating from Tamalpais High School, and whereas on March 24, 2000, Adam was hired as Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Sausalito. And whereas after a brief hiatus from Sausalito, serving as Director of Parks and Rec for Palo Alto, Adam was lured back to Sausalito with the offer of city manager and accepted on September 10th, 2007. And whereas he coached and guided 9 different councils during his 13-year tenure with excellent knowledge about Sausalito and an insider's view of the politics of our town. And whereas his focus for many years was to put Sausalito in a strong financial position, ensuring healthy reserves for financial stability, even in the most challenging economic conditions. And whereas just a few of the notable projects completed on his watch were the Sausalito Fire Department consolidation with Southern Marin Fire Protection District, new police and fire buildings, acquisition of the Bank of America building, and the extensive Robin Sweeney Dunphy Park and Martin Luther King and Southview Park renovations. And whereas with an incredible knowledge of Sausalito people and politics, combined with a tireless ability to engage in a positive manner, he was able to build substantial county and statewide network to the tremendous benefit of Sausalito. He is a consummate and recognized team builder on local, regional, and state levels. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Sausalito recognizes that Adam has a track record of using sports idioms to express himself, but in all cases, he has played to win the game. Although he faced some hurdles over the past decade plus, he was able to go the distance, roll with the punches, if you will, and complete a series of grand slams with minimal Monday morning. Although he came from a humble Parks and Recreation beginning, his service to the City of Sausalito has shown that being a city manager was in his wheelhouse. His calm and steady approach, taking one day at a time with his eye on the ball, inspired confidence in those he worked for and who worked for him. In short, Adam's legacy to the city of Sausalito is a game changer, and we know that he has raised the bar for the position to whomever he passes the baton. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for your service. And I offer the first toast of the evening on behalf of myself, past and current city council members, for your years of tireless effort and expertise on behalf of the people of Sausalito and this town that I know you love. I could go on, but we have a full lineup of distinguished guests that have a lot to say. Some of it may even be about you. So I toast you and I take, thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce former Sausalito Police Chief Scott Pollan, who is our Master of Ceremonies. Scott, take it away. Wait, Scott, it'd be easier if you were not on mute.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I get started, we have an impromptu special guest that we're going to pop in before we get the party started. For the rest of us, we have Congressman Jared Huffman. I turn over the floor to you.
Hi. Oh my goodness.
Are you there, Congressman?
Heidi, can you unmute Congressman Huffman?
There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, there was a little host unmuting thing that needed to happen. It's so great to be with all of you. And this is definitely a who's who of Sausalito. This is fun to go back a few generations here with the town council. I see Paul Albritton there. I saw Dennis Scremen. This is like just a heck of a lot of good people. And I see brand new members of the council and just a whole bunch of community leaders. So Adam, I think the message here is that your great community of Sausalito really appreciates your public service and values you and loves you and wants to thank you for an amazing 20 years of leadership. I'm just chiming in to say that your congressman thanks you too, because you're the only city manager of Sausalito I've ever known. Going back my last 9 years in Congress and 6 years in the state assembly, we've worked together on a whole bunch of things, and you've just been the consummate professional. You've been smart and accessible and operational and effective. So I think that the city of Sausalito not only owes you a debt of gratitude, but I have no idea how the next city manager is going to fill your shoes. To be perfectly honest, I would not want to be that poor person, because you've not only set this incredible bar of excellence, but you're this homegrown product. Your entire life and family are rooted in Sausalito. You are just the genuine article. I don't think the town could ever ask for more. I'm sure they'll find a really good city manager going forward, but those are tough, tough shoes to fill. And I just want to tell you, as your congressman, and please consider me a friend as you become a civilian and I see you around the community. Thank you for everything you've done these past 20 years. I assume you're not going far because your roots are way too deep in Sausalito, but whatever you do next, you can count on my support. Thanks for the last 20 years, Adam. Congratulations.
Thank you, Congressman. Well, welcome everybody to Adam's retirement party. The fact that we're doing this on Zoom can actually be very beneficial. We probably got much more participation, and we'll have hopefully a lot more people are able to attend that could normally be able to attend if we were doing this in person right now, that's for sure. As we recognize Adam tonight, for his many accomplishments, in this deserving retirement. I'm sure it only reinforced what we already know about him and his many accomplishments. But he's much more than his work. His personal qualities are what really stand out. And I'm hoping tonight that we all learn a few more things about him personally as well. First, remember, this is a party. This is not a Zoom meeting. The number one goal is to have fun. And this evening, if you have a stuffy, boring, long story you want to share with Adam, please email it to him or send him a message versus doing that tonight. We have about 25 speakers that we're going to get through. And I understand that Adam got a special delivery tonight, one of his favorite foods and beverages that he may want to share, and some sushi from Sushi Ron, and one of his favorite adult beverages, some bourbon. I think it was Angel's Envy. So I encourage all of those you that partake in adult beverages to please join Adam as we move the party along. Let's go right into our first speaker. I'm going to turn the floor over to Paul Albritton. Paul is a former city council member. He was on the council when Adam was hired first in 2000 as the recreations director. And then Paul was directly involved in hiring Adam again as a city manager in 2007. Paul, you have the floor.
Paul has been unmuted.
Am I there? Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, Paul.
Hey, that's my new 4-letter word, mute. Well, thank you. What a great opportunity. You know, you listen to the proclamation and you listen to what was heard and you realize that this is a fairy tale. Like a young boy grew up in Sausalito and became the longest serving city manager in its history. And it's perfect for Adam Politzer. And I was really honored to be there at the beginning of that fairy tale in Sausalito when Adam was hired as the Park and Rec director. But you know, Sausalito is never free of controversy. And the city manager that hired Adam actually left before Adam arrived on the job. And so things started out pretty hot and fun for Adam. I remember being at an early, I think it was a Caledonia Street Fair, something Jill will know, Dennis will know, where I was giving multiple speeches. And I saw outgoing PR director Carol Buchholz, and I said, "Oh, thank you, Carol. We really appreciate all your help. Everybody give a big hand to Carol Buchholz." And I stepped down from the stage and was immediately approached by a gang of Sausalito residents who said, "Why didn't you thank Adam Politzer, the new Park and Rec director?" And that's when I first met Adam's dad, Bob Politzer, face to face, and realized that Adam had a true calling and a true history and a true understanding and compassion for Sausalito, which is why we hired him as Park and Rec director to begin with. As you heard, I was very lucky to be there in 2007 when Adam, having made a turn down to the south, came back, having learned outside of the city, new techniques and new ideas. And again, Adam demonstrated his empathy and compassion and understanding of the community, but he was up against very tough odds. There were city managers from larger cities that wanted to be the city manager for Sausalito. And we had to go through a full process, but he had people who loved him. Amy Belser loved Adam Politzer and everything that he did and his professionalism, but nobody loved him more than Herb Weiner, Mayor Herb Weiner, who could follow every direction that Adam provided to him. And in fact, when we were hiring Adam in 2007, Herb said to me, "Paul, why do we have to go through all of these silly interviews and committees? Can't we just hire Adam?" And I said, "Sorry, Herb, everybody knows Herb. We have to go through these community meetings. We have to go through these ultimate interviews in order to hire Adam," which we did. And we have continued to benefit from Adam's leadership ever since. And I remembered after my experience with Bob Politzer, I got up and thanked Adam for his help. And I want to thank him again today for all the wonderful things he's done for the city. And it's totally true what Jill said. He helped maintain and rebuild fire, police, parks, infrastructure, parties, and all those things that make Sausalito, Sausalito. So it was an absolute joy to work with him. Well, now Adam gets to go live at the end of the fairy tale, happily ever after with Kristen and the family. Thank you, Kristen and the family. I could go on, obviously, and on about all the regional and important things that Adam and I worked on that I'm still proud of. But I say today, and I've told Adam this myself, you don't know when you do it, but I realize now one of the best decisions of my entire Sausalito career, and probably one of the best decisions of my life, as borne out by his tenure in Sausalito, was to hire Adam Politzer, not once, but twice, to provide service to the city of Sausalito. So Adam, thank you so much. You certainly enlightened my life and that of everyone in Sausalito.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, in between speakers, I'm going to share with you what I've termed some Adam-isms. These are terms and one-liners that Adam has used over the years, sometimes repeatedly. Many of you may recognize some of them. But one of Adam's most famous, that you may not even realize, is now used in the White House. The press secretary, Gene Psaki, uses his term that I heard Adam say almost every day that I worked with him more than a dozen years ago. That's circle back. So Adam, I don't know if you've given that up or you just passed that on over to the White House for them to use it now, but that's good. So our next speaker,
I'll circle back with you, Scott.
Our next speaker is going to be former city council member, Dennis Screeman. I give the floor to Dennis.
Let me see if I'm unmuted. Okay, great. Thank you, Scott. Mary told me what this was going to be happening at Dunphy Park. I'm not sure where everyone is tonight. I'm down here now. Anyway, it was really nice to follow Paul and remembering back what Sausalito was like. I got on the council in 2002, and I had the luck of having Paul and Amy as my mentors. But we were in a lot of conflict in 2001. And this town was so divided. And when you just look around at what's happened in the last 20 years, it's pretty amazing. And I think we owe a lot of appreciation for Adam for doing that. I want to start by thinking about Adam as a young kid in the 70s, living in Sausalito with Bob and Olive and his sister Narissa in a house not too far from City Hall. This young guy is out on his bicycle. He's maybe pedaling down to the baseball court, down to the bay. And do you think he ever thought at that age, as he's pedaling around on his bike, that he would be running this town for all these years at this point in his life? Pretty amazing, Adam. Continue drinking the bourbon right now. Anyway, one of the stories I wanted to talk about is in 2005, we had an opportunity to compete with the whole Bay Area to bring what was going to be a world famous bike race to Sausalito. And it was going to be the Amgen Tour of California. I asked Adam if he would be willing to be part of the organizing committee, and he agreed. And that's when the three amigos were created, which was Adam and Jeff Sharosh and Greg Christie. And they did a fabulous job. Not only did we be selected as one of the cities for the Tour of California, but we became the starting city. And that meant that Adam was also in charge of helping to form a black tie dinner and 2 days of events and coordinating all of the media, helicopters, all of that was going on. It was a pretty exciting time. That was really great. And thank you, Adam, for being able to do that. You know, over the years, I've been able to become a really good friend of Adam's. Our families enjoy a lot of times together. And so I want to talk just briefly about how much he loves sports. And and we know that he did as a kid participate in all the different sports and whatever, but where he really is shining right now is in mentoring his daughters, who are just outstanding themselves. And it's hard to believe that we always thought that the city manager was a really time consuming position, but you add on to that traveling every weekend to some different base city for some traveling league. Pretty amazing, Adam, that you were able to accomplish all of that too. Now, unfortunately, Adam's current interest in sports is now limited to just picks for March Madness. So later tonight, you're going to hear, after all these speakers, all of his accomplishments, all the wonderful things that he's done. But to really try to keep him a little humble, ask him how he did with his March Madness picks for this year. And then in final, I just want to say it was really my pleasure to introduce Adam to Charles McGlashan when Charles was really interested in becoming much more involved in Sausalito and representing our city as our supervisor. Two of them hit it off perfectly. I mean, they were very similar in how dynamic and how approachable they were. And they would put everyone at ease with these wonderful smiles. And you know, it just was really nice to see that connection and how much that connection helped the city of Sausalito. I mean, sadly, this week was the 10th anniversary of Charles' sudden death at the age of 49. And I'd just like to read a quote from Charles that also, I think, really represents how I see Adam. This is from Charles. "We'll just keep trying to do the right thing, as we always do, for as long as we can. I imagine that this point is the main theme of all of our hard work, to do the best for the earth and all of her children all of the time, with every action and decision we make. We may lose most efforts, but we are engaged in right livelihood, and that is what matters most. Hopefully some greater purpose is holding all of us as we try to win a better future for our lovely world and her kids." And Charles just passed on March 27th, 2011. What's really important now is for Adam and Kristen to be able to have some retirement, hopefully travel, enjoy life, as long as they make a lot of room for all their children's activities. I wish you the best, my brother.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you.
I don't have my bourbon. I got to find it.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Anybody know Adam's favorite lunch spot? Just a short story here. I'd say about, I don't know, maybe at least 80% of the time, I had lunch when we went out to lunch. We had lunch with Adam at the Bayside Cafe. And it was just it was usually like a second management team meeting. Adam would call me on the phone and say, "Who's driving the bus?" Well, we always knew who was driving the bus. It was somebody from the police department, usually me, the majority of the time. And the bus's favorite stop was the Bayside Cafe. So Adam, I hope business doesn't suffer, because we always had a carload of people going down there for your impromptu lunch meetings to help give business. Just a short tidbit. Next on the list, I want to see if Dan Williams is here.
Scott, can I interrupt?
Yes.
I think Senator McGuire's on.
Okay.
I think he's on. If that's okay, whoever was next, I'm sorry.
All right. I can skip to him if you'd like, but is Dan Williams here? If you are, unmute and come forward.
But let's have, I think Mike's, Senator McGuire's ready to go, I think. Senator McGuire, did I just hear your voice?
Hey, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Sorry.
Well, we will defer
There you
over to Senator McGuire and give him the floor. He's been a champion for our kids in public schools. He went to the mat and won against President Trump for offshore drilling and led the charge in our legislature on wildfires and is leading voice holding PG&E accountable. So Senator McGuire, you now have the floor.
Hey, Scott, how you doing? Thank you so much for allowing me to be with you. It is truly an honor. And to the mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, and the council members, thank you so much for allowing me to be able to join this special occasion. There's nothing more personal than going to work for the town that you grew up in. And Adam Politzer did just that. And Adam, I am just so grateful to be with you, your family, your friends and colleagues tonight. Adam has made a difference in his hometown day in and day out for 20 years, 13 years as a city manager. And I got to tell you, it is no small feat being the longest serving city manager in Sausalito's history. He's had a big life as a city manager, as we've heard, one of the most successful in the entire Golden State, whether it's championing public safety and parks. He's built affordable housing for seniors. He's made the city more fiscally sound. He's developed innovative solutions to the seasonal bike invasion from San Francisco, and he's focused on homelessness in Richardson Bay. And he did it all with a big heart and an open mind, and always willing to go to the mat for the town that he loved. It has been such an experience and an honor to be able to work with Adam for these past 6 years. And I got to say, Mr. City Manager, and I'm going to get a little blubbery, you are truly one of the best. You're collaborative. You're a relentless warrior for the people of Sausalito. You're passionate about public service, which makes you so good at what you do. You're a bridge builder. You have an uncanny ability to be able to work with even the most challenging personalities. And of course, we're not talking about city council members. And to top it all off, ladies and gentlemen, Adam is one of the best dads in the world. He's a dedicated and outstanding dad. And he's always put that responsibility at the top of his list. And I am going to so miss working with you, sir. I've just been so grateful to be able to establish this relationship with you, not only as a colleague, but Mr. City Manager, calling you as a friend. And that is why so honored on behalf of Assemblymember Levine and myself, we're honored to be able to present you with the highest honor of the California legislature that was passed in honor of the city manager, making today Adam Politzer Day in Northern California and providing him with the golden resolution. And I think we need to give it up loud and proud to our retiring city manager, Mr. Adam Politzer. Everybody. Love you, man.
Love you, Mike. Thank you. So nice of you. Thank you so much. You're the dad to be. You got to take the mantle now, my friend. You're the dad to be now.
That's very true. I'm calling you about diaper changing advice.
Thank you, Senator. All right, well, let's go back and see if we can get Dan Williams. Is there Dan Williams here and ready?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Dan. Dan, you hired Adam, I understand, in 1987 in Palo Alto.
That's right.
And as a part-time coordinator. And while he was there, he advanced to becoming a full-time supervisor. So you have the floor, Dan.
All right, thank you. Adam and Kristen, it's good to see you again. I retired from the city of Palo Alto in December 2004 as the Director of Recreation, Open Space, and Sciences. Adam was kind enough to speak at my retirement celebration. He wasn't just someone that I had worked with, but he was someone that I considered my friend and someone I've always enjoyed. I first met Adam, as you said, in 1987. That was 33 years ago. He was at the front counter and I overheard him talking to the lady at the front counter, indicating that he had his resume and he was looking to see if we had any openings. There were no recreation staff members there at the time in the office to refer him to. And since I was in there, I thought, well, the least I can do is speak to him and then refer him on to one of the program supervisors if appropriate. I was immediately impressed with Adam. He was bright, cheerful, spoke well, and had many of the skills we look for in our recreation staff. I thought to myself, I need to hire this guy before someone else does. So I did something that I had rarely done before, and that was to offer him a job on the spot rather than referring him to another staff member, and it takes time and whatever, because somebody else might have picked him up, and we were very fortunate to get him. And I have to say that's one of the best hiring decisions that I've ever made. Adam became a full-time professional with the department as he was hired a recreation coordinator in 1991. He was promoted to the position of recreation supervisor in 1993. And soon after that, he joined the management team as a recreation services manager. Adam was well qualified for the roles that he filled. He was smart, creative, and had good program and communication skills. He displayed a passion for things that he believed in and compassion for people that have been less fortunate. Adam's leadership skills were unique. When I thought of Adam and the folks that worked for him, I didn't really think of them as staff per se, but Adam and his team. There was no doubt that he was a team leader, but he involved with his staff in such a way that there was usually consensus in the direction that they needed to go. He gave people the opportunity to learn, to grow, and become leaders themselves. He developed friendships with them, but he understood his role as a supervisor, a leader, and a mentor. There are always things when I think about Adam that come to mind, and there was one that I would like to share with you that was particularly gratifying to me. This was when Adam came into my office one day and he sat down in a chair in front of me, and it seemed as if he had something that he wanted to talk about to me. He sat across from me and told me about this girl that he had just met. He was obviously quite taken with her. He told me how beautiful she was, how smart she was, and how easy it was to talk to her and be with her. Her name was Kristen. Later, I got an invitation to their wedding in Colorado. It was a beautiful wedding, and I'm glad that I was invited and able to go. I remember for a wedding present that I gave them a KitchenAid, one of these mixers that sits on a counter, those big clunky ones. It was something that was on their gift register. When Adam returned from Colorado, I came across him in the parking lot as he was going to coming out of his car, and I was going into mine. And he said, you know, thanks for the gift. But he added, but why did you buy us a mixer? I wanted a new baseball glove, which I thought was kind of funny. And Adam left the city of Palo Alto in the year 2000 to become director in Parks and Recreation for the city of Sausalito. All you know, the rest of the story, and here we are today. I was sad to see him go, but at the time I was really happy for him. I always knew that he would wind up somewhere in a prominent leadership role and position. My wife, Kathy, who's in the room, always referred to Adam as my protege. And I think maybe that is too strong of a word, but I did consider myself a mentor and a friend. I was and will always be very proud of him and what he has become. One thing about retirement is that now every day, Adam, can be Saturday. So Adam, enjoy these Saturdays with your family and reflect with pride on your successes. Congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you, Dan. I don't think every day Saturdays as well, as long as Kristen's at home. It's every day.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Dan.
All right, thanks.
All right, well, I think Dan summed it up there. One of Adam's, another Adamism that we heard often, and that is he'd tell us, he goes, I went from passing out kickballs to city manager. And he would use that in the context of making sure that we make good hires, because you never know where these people may go. So next we have Dan DeSchmidt. He's the former police chief in Belmont and a great friend of Adam's. Dan DeSchmidt, are you there? I'll give you the
Yeah,
floor.
Scott, thank you very much. Adam, it's great to see you. I wish we could do this in person, but congratulations on your retirement. It's certainly well deserved. You know, Adam came to Belmont, I don't know, about 15 years ago. I guess Sausalito refers to those as the dark years, I guess. But he left there as their park and rec director, came to Belmont as a park and rec director. Frankly, I knew right away that he wasn't going to be there very long. He was going to go be a city manager somewhere, and we all knew that. But you know, the one thing I remember is when he first showed up with the management team, and I believe I was a captain at the time. I was not the chief yet, and he came to me and said, you know, I understand you're a baseball guy, and I was, and he was too. So we certainly made a connection there. And he said, what does the police department and park and rec do together? Like, and he was all about joining partnerships with departments. And I said, well, if you get something stolen, you can call us. I think that's about the only partnership we had at that point. And he said, no, we're going to do some things together. I got some ideas. And, you know, the next thing you know, within the next year, there was, you know, police officers were at their summer camps, and we were we put together a movie in the park night, which was kind of a joke because neither one of us know anything about putting together movies in the park, but we did a lot of projects like that. And then he came to me one day and said, we need to put together a softball team for the city. And I said, isn't that cute? The park and rec guy thinks he's a softball player, but that's good. And so we did. And like I said, I was a baseball guy. I was in charge of most of the hiring of the police department. So we had a lot of baseball players in the police department. And so we were pretty good. And Adam came out, I'll never forget, the very first at bat, he hits a ball over the right field wall that's probably landed somewhere in San Francisco Bay. And I thought, oh my, the park and rec guy is actually really an athlete. I did not know that. So we went on to have a lot of fun, and we did a lot of projects together. And then we started playing golf together. And it turns out he also hits those balls over the fences, but that's not quite the same thing. I don't know if you knew that, but so he hits balls over fences everywhere, whether they're baseballs or golf balls, softballs, whatever they might be. But we certainly had a blast. We did a lot of projects together. Like I said, we all knew that he wasn't going to be in Belmont very long, and he wasn't. He only spent a few years there before he was drawn back to be a city manager, and well-deserved. And he also had, you know, he was so great at, Adam, you know, he was so great at making connections with people. And, you know, as the years went on, we stayed in touch, of course. And, you know, I ended up doing some work in Sacramento as part of Cal Chiefs, and I was on their board of directors for a while. And it would never fail. If I ran into city managers around the state, they always said, oh, you're friends with Adam Politzer, aren't you? I'm like, how does everybody know that? How does everybody know this guy? You can't go around Sacramento without running into somebody that asks me about Adam Politzer everywhere I go. And so, but that's just the kind of personality that you have, and why you're so successful at what you do. And you know, managing projects was nothing without managing people. And I think Adam had a way of making everyone around him feel like they were special, and that they had something to offer, and that no idea was a bad idea. That's why I loved working with Adam, because we could always try something new that maybe we haven't tried before. And it always seemed like a good idea if Adam was in the room, because we're going to figure a way to make it a good idea. Even it might be a bad idea, but we're going to figure a way to make it work. And that's why we always had a lot of fun. And that's why we always stayed in touch even afterwards. You know, we always wanted to work together again. Never really happened. I retired a year ago, so now we're both retired. I guess we can consult now or something. I'm not too sure what retired people are supposed to do. I'm coaching baseball. You can do that too. You can come down and join me coaching baseball. How about that?
Well, you're special, Dan. You're real special. You've always been special. At least your mom tells you that.
I know.
But I have some ideas. You and I will work together. I have some ideas. Trust me.
There you go. God bless. Love you, man. I wish I could see you more, and we'll get together soon. And congratulations. You enjoy this retirement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. No, Dan mentioned some of the sports that Adam played. Those of you that don't know, he played football and baseball through high school and college. And then I heard something about him in crew. I'm not quite sure what happened there on a crew team. Maybe not quite as successful on crew. You know, hopefully he wasn't, you know, trying to get into USC like Lori Laughlin's family, but I don't know. No setups there. One of Adam's favorite holidays, if you call it a holiday, was yesterday. And I don't know anyone else in the world who enjoys April Fool's Day more than Adam. I just hope that I didn't have any really bad news to tell Adam on April 1st, because he wouldn't believe a word I said on April 1st. But I understand that he even had a successful prank or two yesterday on city staff that I heard about. I got a few texts about your successful pranks at City Hall. And so you still got it, Adam. All right, our next speakers is going to be a team here. We have the former city clerk, Debbie Pagliaro, the current city attorney, Mary Wagner, and the former Public Works Director, Jonathan Goldman. Okay, you three have the floor.
Hi, this is Debbie. You hear me? Oh.
Yes,
Okay,
we hear you.
Thank you. Well, I'm not going to be able to ad lib the way everyone else is. Otherwise, I might have to hold this up in front of my face the whole time. Managed to pull this out of retirement. Retired. So I have my little cheat sheet sitting alongside me because I'm already teary-eyed, and we were told no way. So shame on you.
Deep breath, Debbie.
Deep breath, we can make it. Yeah, who would have thought that a retirement party could be done via Zoom? It's got to be a first. But have you ever noticed that there are some people out there that just like to stand out just a little bit more than others? That's our Adam. So I think you've kind of heard a theme along the way, you know, what's happening, what he's done along the way. I'll make mine really brief. And as you've heard, Adam started with the city of Sausalito many moons ago when he applied for the position of the Parks and Recreation Director. So as he was in the process, back then, we had the applicants check in at our front counter, and then they got shooshed down the hallway into some chairs just to sit there and wait. Well, I noticed that this Adam Politzer had checked in, and so I headed down to introduce myself. What a small world we live in. It turns out, and I noted this to Adam right then and there, we grew up in the same neighborhood. His house, his backyard, was right across the street from my grandfather's house, and I was the next house up. It obviously made Adam a little bit more at ease because, as we all know, he got the job. Adam always loved telling that story, but I didn't think it was anything special. You just go down and let people know who they are. Unfortunately, as we've heard, Adam did move on, only to return again to interview for the position of city manager. But rats, I wasn't there to set him at ease again. But that didn't matter. Who would have thought that a local boy would become the city manager in a town that he grew up in? It's just not common, and he did. And Adam began immediately to build his strong management team. I moved back to City Hall to be his administrative assistant, and it was great. It was a wonderful time. Adam had a way of pushing his management team outside their comfort zone. And I'll never forget the time that Adam asked me to take charge of the volunteer appreciation event. He had a conflict that night, and so he couldn't do the typical running of the show. As nervous as I was, I did it, and I loved every minute of it. I loved taking charge. This was such an important event. Adam was able to make an appearance before it concluded. And so I allowed Adam to come forward and offer a few words. And that was the key word there, a few words. And I did it. I cut him off, and that was the end of it. It was just wonderful. As we all know, Adam has a heart of gold. This is what has made him the very best city manager that I ever worked under. And now, Adam, you need to share that heart of gold with your wife and your kids. You need to remember they are not accustomed to your being on their turf 24/7. So here's to you. Love you and miss you all so much.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much. Love you.
I love you guys.
All right, my turn. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jonathan Goldman. I am grateful for the opportunity to be here and to speak, and that all of you are well and able to join this virtual celebration of Adam's transition into his next wonderful career. I also want you all to know that I look forward to the next time that I get to see each of you in person. In addition to my gratitude for having a safe and healthy family, and having had my first injection of the Moderna vaccine, I'm happy to report that I continue to make progress, as I'm sure that Adam has since retiring, on being able to open produce bags in the grocery store without licking my fingers. I met Adam and his family many years ago when he was my only daughter's one and only softball coach. As luck would have it, Adam is also the best coach I've ever had the opportunity to play for. A lot of that is a result of his gifts for finding marvelous players and for bringing out the marvelous in some of us who aren't always. I'm proud to have played a successful role in delivering improvements to facilities and processes in Sausalito and Southern Marin that Adam valued during the 10 years I got to work with him. Some of those adventures are ongoing, Southview Park and apparently its migratory birds, and the Gate 6 project, for examples. But Adam's leadership sustained the development and delivery of many wonderful improvements. Leadership informed by his having been a member of the community for so long, and for his not being afraid to take on a role that only a very few have the personality, vision, and patience to handle with expertise and joy. Not all of Adam's improvements have been capital projects, and there are many other current and former department heads who can point to initiatives that wouldn't have happened without Adam's vision and perseverance. But I take pride in having been a part of delivering Adam and the community's vision of the public safety buildings, the downtown restroom, Sweeney, Dunphy, MLK, Marianne Sears, Viña Del Mar, and other park improvements, and lots of concrete street reconstruction, sewer and storm drain improvements, accessibility improvements, fire and life safety improvements, and energy efficiency and photovoltaic installations, and many more. As you all know, Adam has a gift for ensuring that before an important decision is made, the goals, stakeholders, and diverse perspectives are well understood, well vetted, equitable, inclusive, and that he has as much support from potential objectors as he can manage. When he doesn't have enough support to make something happen, he has the sense to keep his powder dry, save time and energy for a better day without holding a grudge or resenting dissent. He's trusted, fair, and direct without being closed-minded. Just ask his daughters. And that contributes to his successes as a coach, city manager, father, and mentor. As you all know, Adam has a gift for communicating. He's a skilled listener and is persuasive and very capable of learning on the fly, changing direction, and changing emphasis. He's also one of the most loyal leaders I have ever met. He sometimes reminded me of Tom Hanks' character in Saving Private Ryan, and that was before the pandemic. Another great leader I've recently come to better appreciate was Dwight Eisenhower. For those of you who haven't yet, I highly recommend Michael Korda's biography, Ike. Adam has those kinds of skills, and they will serve him well in his next career. Although it's an awkward segue, I'd like to thank Adam for giving me his trust and coaching, and leave you all with a quote from another book that I recently enjoyed, When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. Life is a good teacher and a good friend. Things are always in transition, if we could only realize it. Nothing ever sums itself up the way that we like to dream about. The off-center, in-between state is an ideal situation, a situation in which we don't get caught and we can open our hearts and minds beyond the limit. Thank you, Adam, for your service.
Thank you, Jonathan. I have more to say later, but thank you. It's been my pleasure having you on my team. And I'm coming down to Tucson to visit you.
Bring it.
All right, so I think that means it's my turn, and those two are a hard act to follow to represent the management team that you put together. And you know, we had a limited amount of time, so I think they really put me last, so I wouldn't be able to say too much. So Adam, you're going to be spared a lot of those stories you were afraid that I might throw out there at you. But as you guys know, Adam's a big statistics guy, so I tried to do a little math this afternoon, which is, you know, that's a little dangerous when you're a lawyer to try and do math, but let's see if I got it right. I think we went to 172 city council meetings together during your time as city manager. Of those, 36 were special meetings. Well, they were all special, but 36 of them were labeled as such. And we worked with 17 city council members and 10 different mayors. We had countless lunches at Bayside, as Scott referenced. Scott was the bus driver. The players changed, you know, over time, but there was always that pretty consistent core. And Scott being the bus driver was a little scary. Most of you would think the police chief would be, you know, your best choice of a bus driver, but we'll just leave that there. And those lunches, you know, they evolved. At first, it was really work related. And I remember being invited to the first one, I think when Adam was still Park and Rec director, to talk about the tour of California. Adam always had an agenda, but that's the one I remember. But those, you know, those evolved over time to talking about our kids and our families as they grew up. Really, we have kids similar ages. I don't know how he gets to retire when we still have one in college and one who's going to be going to college, but somehow he managed to do that before me. I always remind him he's older than me, maybe only by a month, but he's still older than me. But most of all, you know, I'm happy to call Adam my colleague, but I'm most happy and really thrilled to be able to call him my friend. And I know that he's going to be my friend, you know, for the rest of our lives. So thank you, Adam. Here's to you. Can't wait to see what the next chapter is going to bring.
Cheers.
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 And no tears. You said no tears. Debbie and I both pulled it. Jonathan too. I don't know. He's wiping his eyes. I guess Jonathan, you know, he's not as strong.
Oh, thank you, Mary, Debbie, Jonathan. Anybody know Adam's favorite TV show? At least back in the day, I know one of his favorite TV shows, he always wanted to talk about The Bachelor. All right, next up, we have Todd Cusimano, who's the town manager for the Court of Madera and one of Adam's great friends. Todd, you have.
Thanks, Scott. I can't believe you just ended that with The Bachelor. Okay, we're gonna go with this. Okay, so I had this like huge 15-page love fest for Adam, but you know, this is being recorded, so I'm gonna have to take about 12 pages out. You know, Dan and Dennis and Senator McGuire covered the rest of it, so I'm gonna wing this one. You know, I think I think with Adam, I want to start here because it's to the core of what Adam's all about. You know, for Adam and me, I've known him both personally and professionally for many years. And when someone's just better than you, you know, for me personally, I idolize this guy, you know, just in every aspect. And I want to start with what he's all about. I call him Yoda, you know, the Star Wars reference of, you know, I'm Chewbacca, and we'll get to this in a second, but he's Yoda. And, you know, Adam and I spend a lot of time together when we talk about, our work as managers, as leaders. We always start our conversations with family because it starts with family. And when I think of Adam, it brings me great pride, and I'm in awe over him. When he talks about his family, Kristen, he shines, he glows. He's so proud of his wife, Kristen, and his relationship of what they've built together. His 3 daughters, they have all just turned into a really amazing young women in their own right, both in, scholastics, professionally, within sports, just amazing, amazing daughters. And I'm in awe over it. No matter where we are at any time, it always starts with family. And he is true. He's the truest, purest person I know. When we talk about, hey, making the right decision, when we're leaders and we're talking to our, educating someone else, doing a teaching moment of like, hey, when no one's looking, what are you going to do? You're going to do the right thing, or you're going to do the wrong thing? Which way are you going to go? Are you going to do it because it's easy, or are you going to do what's right? And Adam, starting with family, does what's right. And his family is amazing. I love you guys. The Politzers are amazing. And it starts there with Adam. And then when you move away from family, because it always starts there, and then it goes out professionally. And Adam has always taken a leadership role in his 13 years as a manager. I've been a manager for 5 years. Since I've been a manager, every new manager he's come in, including me, and he sat down and he shared his experience, letting me know, hey, this is a hard job. We only know what we're going to go through. It's a great job, but it's also debilitating. But like keeping us balanced, knowing that family's first and foremost, and then after that, really setting the stage of what's important and putting, your city or town on your shoulders and moving forward as a leader, what it means to be a leader. He opened that leadership academy back years ago in Southern Marin. I've been part of it for a few years, and it's one of my most exciting parts of being a manager, of being able to teach the new, our new leadership, our new, the new employees coming into government, and just listening to Adam, talk about that. I'm just always in awe over him. And I just really appreciate that. As a new manager, Adam gave me the toolkit as a new manager. It had a number of things. I'm not going to talk about it completely now. I'll share that when we, as the MMA group, meet at our social hour. But he gave me the toolkit as a new manager of what to expect. He also gave me a lot of like the life preserver of when you're in trouble, where do you turn and where do you go? And Adam, I have 2 envelopes to open when things get really bad. I haven't had to open them yet, but I look, hopefully I never have to, but if I do, they're available to me. And, Adam, I just really appreciate, the love and support you've always given me and all of our cohorts. At the League of California Cities, we've spent much time, reminiscing and supporting each other. I know Garrett Toy, the Fairfax manager, brought you a special gift earlier tonight. Unfortunately, I can't drink bourbon, and I don't want to talk about the story that you and Garrett, sent me under the table over bourbon one night in Sacramento, but we thought it was appropriate for you to have that tonight. But all of the managers with Marin recognize not only just you being a manager for 13 years, but what you bring to the table. You've never in a conversation taken the easy route. You've always done what's right. You've protected Sausalito, but you've also represented all of us in Marin. You put yourself on an island at times where others weren't willing to have a voice to do what's right, but you have. And I've just always been in awe over you. I appreciate you. I love you to death. I'll follow you to the end of the time. I'm looking forward to you coming back into the workforce, because you will be doing consulting for the town of Corte Madera. For those that Adam has served within Sausalito, both at the council, role, staff, as well as residents, there is no one like Adam. Adam is the best in the business. He's real. What you see is what you get with him, as Senator McGuire said. You've earned your legacy, and your legacy starts with family. It starts with treating people the right way. being a leader when it's not easy to be a leader. And it's always defending those who need it most, who don't have a voice, who need that support. You've always done that. And I think, as I say that, I think about it, you've always supported me. So I'm just wondering if I've always been the underdog, do I need a lot of attention? You know, because you've always been there for me. But you're amazing. I love you to death. Cheers to your retirement. You deserve everything you get. And I'm looking forward to you to come to Corte Madera to give me some serious consulting. So I love you, brother.
I love you, Todd. You're a great friend and you're an excellent manager. You're a top chief in the county and now you're the top manager. I love you. You know, you have a great team there in Corte Madera, and just thank you for your kindness. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
All right, thank you, Todd. Adam, as your poker buddies used to say, was that a lot of kakamalaka? Is that, I don't know. Another one of an Adamism. But our next on our list is speaker is going to be Jonathan Logan. Jonathan has been a great community partner with Adam in Marin. And Jonathan, you have the floor.
Okay. All right. Good to see you, Adam. I thought what I would do is read an email that I sent to you back in 2005. And we were at breakfast the other morning with my son, and we were trying to figure out how long we've known each other. And we couldn't put an exact date on it, but I found an email from September 1st, 2005. And I said, "Hello, Mr. Politzer. My name is Jonathan Logan, and I'm the Marin City CSD District Manager. I was given your card by Mr. Robert Fisher, who suggested that we explore joint recreation programs. I would like to sit with you and my recreation coordinator and debrief each other on our respective programs and see what comes of it. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Regards, John Logan." And so that was my first email to you, and I was absolute crickets. I didn't get a response back whatsoever. And so Robert came back to the office and he said, "Hey, did you check in with Adam yet? You really need to connect with this guy." I said, "No, he didn't respond." And so Robert Fisher said, "Hop in the car." So we jumped in his Lincoln, drove around the corner to your office, and with no appointment, and just showed up. And I remember you were so gracious. You took me around the facilities. We talked a lot about programming, and you let me know how your situation was set up. And, you know, we talked about the Sausalito magazine and how you advertise your recreation programs, and just gave me a bit of a blueprint to really do the work that I was able to do in Marin City at the time. And so I really appreciate that. I think the other thing I would mention is that, Adam, what you showed me how to do really well, not with a lot of verbiage or lengthy talks, but more so just watching you. What I learned to do is how to manage sort of small town politics in order to get important projects done. And it was all relationship based. And I saw you move around the city with relationships. You knew who to call, when to call them, what their temperament would be and how you needed to show up. And I was able to watch that and sort of learn that from you. So I really appreciate the lessons that you showed me. Another thing that I'll say is that every conversation that we've ever had, it's always included family. Your wife and your daughters coaching softball. I remember you told me, you said it's family first and then everything else is a jump ball. And I took that to heart, and I'm a man of the same heart. And so it's great to have you as a colleague, as a friend. Wish you well in retirement. I know you're going to find some really good things to do. Sounds like Todd already has an agenda set up for you. So that should be good. That should be fun. And I'll just say one more Adam story. Since I started on him not responding to me, he introduced me to Todd. We were all supposed to go get lunch one day. And Adam, about 30 minutes into me and Todd getting to know each other, we get this call from Adam and he says, "Actually, I'm not going to be able to make it, guys." So he stood us up but I got to meet Todd. We had a great conversation, and no hard feelings, Adam. I still love you, and wish you well in retirement, man. God bless.
Thank you, Jonathan. This, I know everyone knows who Jonathan is when Todd or Dan was talking about me in Sacramento, but Jonathan's the real deal. He is the star of the future, and I love you to death. And I'm sorry I didn't call you that. And I owe you and Todd a bunch.
It's all good. It's all good. I've made up for it over the years.
But now that I'm on a fixed income, you guys are going to be paying for lunch, though.
Right.
Thank you, Jonathan. Well, Adam, it sounds like you need to get back to basics there, like you used to preach to us all the time on that one. We heard back to basics for, I don't know, years meetings, but it always was a good theme and a good leadership message when he did it. Next, we have Robin Petrovich, who's the owner of Heath Ceramics and has been on several boards and commissions in Sausalito. Robin, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Hi, Adam. It's nice to see you again. Nice to see everybody. Nice to see everybody else in Sausalito. I haven't seen in person for a long time too. So, you know, I first got to know the city of Sausalito back in 2003 when my wife Kathy and I bought Heath over on Gate 5 Road. And, you know, as one of the oldest businesses in Sausalito, turned out we also seem to have one of the oldest torn up and beat up potholed streets in town too. And in the last 50 years, our lot had sunk about 5 feet, if you can believe it. There's an amazing picture of that. And Lake Edith, as we like to call it, when the tides are high, you know, never looked more beautiful than 2004. And when I really started to get to know the city. So that was my personal introduction. And before Adam became city manager, I didn't know him as Parks and Rec commissioner at the time. It was pretty tough. I found it pretty tough working with them at that moment. And so I say that because after Adam became city manager, even before I got to know him personally, over time, the evolution of the city became so evident. And it was just noticeable in so many of the little things, the little interactions and a lot of other details. And so even before meeting Adam personally, I began to really respect the way that the city was run through all those interactions. And that respect has only grown over time, which is, I think, one of the reasons why my heart sank a little bit when I learned that Adam was retiring. I immediately went to, well, what's next for the city of Sausalito? So, you know, after getting to know Adam a little bit more, and in part through his encouragement, as Scott mentioned, and becoming more involved in the community directly, working on a couple of boards and so on. You know, I also became to, you know, started to understand what an incredibly hard job it is, and respected even more the evolution that I'd seen in the city under Adam's watch. And I don't think it's only because as owner of Heath, I usually send some pretty nice appreciation gifts around the holidays. Maybe that's an incentive for the next city manager, I hope. So what Adam seems to do really well is he seems to really be able to move things forward with one arm tied behind his back, while also caught between a rock and a hard place. That's what city managers seem to be like to me, looking at it from the outside. And, you know, that job description is not for everyone, as many of you guys have said tonight, but it's what really seemed to fit Adam, as somebody with a lot of perspective, a lot of smarts, and simply a lot of decency, a lot of basic human decency and integrity that sometimes feels like it's in rare supply. And so that makes him a rare human being. So back to Heath Way and the floods on Gate 5 Road. You know, I've been saying a lot of nice things about him right now, but Adam, you know, the road to Heath Way is worse than when you started, and the floods are deeper than they were too. So, you know, it's hard, I get it, you know, to make that progress. So what I'm thinking is, now that you've got all this time on your hands, a little bit of consulting, I think, at Heath by bringing down a couple of shovels. And maybe you and me can make a little bit more progress on this than how we were trying it before. And after listening tonight, I'm thinking maybe we should turn it into a park, and maybe that'll be successful. So we can talk about that, or we can just start to, you know, put our shoulders into the pickaxes. But thanks, Adam. Really going to miss you. And it's going to be really, really hard shoes to fill. I absolutely agree with that. Good luck.
Thank you, Robin. Kristen and I were actually at Heath today picking out some tile. The lake looks good, so I think it should just become a lake and we can stock it with fish. And
I'm glad to hear you just walked on by it because, you know, it's not your problem anymore.
All right, I'll volunteer to help there. Janelle and Jill, sign me up. I will take that. Just for the record, Mike Kelly and I and Jonathan worked on that from day one, and 13 years later, we clearly failed, so sorry.
13 years times 365 days. Maybe Mary can help you with this math, but if you'd brought a bucket of gravel each one of those days on the way to the Bayside Cafe, we might have gotten some.
I have some gravel. I'll start working. Thank you, Rob.
All right. Thank you, Robin. We have another impromptu dignitary who would like to recognize Adam. So we're going to make room to get her in. Marin County Supervisor, Stephanie Moulton Peters. Stephanie, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Scott. Listen, I was late coming because I was at an RBRA BCDC settlement meeting. So anyway, Adam, I just wanted to send my congratulations to you. Adam and I met in 2008 when we were both at the new mayors and council members meeting at the League of Californias in Sacramento. And at that time, I don't think any of the council members from Sausalito came, but there were 3 of us from Mill Valley. So we adopted Adam, and who was new city manager. And that was the beginning of a great relationship that I've enjoyed with him for many years. And Ray Withy and Joe Burns and Joan Cox quickly came into the league. And so there was a full complement involved. But I just want to say it's been my experience, Adam, working with you, that you have navigated the rough and tumble, constantly changing political landscape that is local politics, and you've done it with compassion and great competence. And you are a city manager, and it's really been a pleasure and an honor to work with you. And a pleasure and an honor to work with your daughter, Hannah, in the city of Mill Valley. You trained up a new one, and she's fantastic. So Mill Valley and I wish you the very best. The whole district does. Thank you for everything you've done. And we'll see you in your new consulting role real soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie. You're the best. And that was right. It was, I think there was 9 council members from Marin, 3 from Mill Valley, and I was the only city manager, which I've now told every city manager to always go to that conference. It's a great conference, and all our council members have gone since 2008. But it's been a pleasure working with you, and I wish you great success in your new role as supervisor. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Take good care.
Thank you. All right. Well, next we have Bill Warner. He's a former planning commissioner and a go-to advisor for Adam and many other city staff on a multitude of city issues over the years. Oh, Bill, you're up. Bill, you have the floor if you can hear me.
Myself, is that better? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, Bill. Thank you.
Oh, good. You know, after listening to Jill Hoffman's whereases in the proclamation, followed by Jared Hoffman's comments, and the past, I count them 12 speakers, there's hardly anything left to be said. And I'm sort of normally not the kind of person that runs around finding things to say. So I would like to say, first of all, Adam, the part I remember most and best are those Friday afternoons we spent over drinks at the Spinnaker. When in fact, I could ask you a question about anything going on in town, and you knew at least most of the answers, more so than almost anybody else in town that I could imagine. And I think sometimes if you didn't know them, you made them up, but that was pretty good. And I don't remember who said it, but you don't look the least bit like Yoda. It's a comment made, I think. You do act like Yoda sometimes, the business about don't try, just do, which is, I think, one of your primary good parts. So the Friday afternoon drinks, the conversations, and the fact that I don't know, I've been through 4 or 5 city managers in Sausalito, and not one of them comes close to my perception about you and about how you work. So I wish you and Kristen and the rest of your family everything you hope for, and then some. Thanks for your friendship.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you for all the years of your advice, and most importantly, for saying yes when I'd ask you to step forward. You always said yes. And I appreciated that. And I look forward to many more drinks at the Spinnaker with you in the very near future. Cheers.
Or anywhere else for that matter. Cheers.
And any day of the week now, at any time of the day.
That works for me too.
Thank you, Bill. And next up, we have Susan Rowe, who's heads up our sister city, a park commissioner, and just an all-around community person extraordinaire. Susan, you have the floor.
Hi, I'm here under Tom Clark's name. I am Susan Rowe, and I think we should start off with our late great friend, Herbie's. How you doing? How you doing? He always said it twice. He was one of those people that touched my life and brought me closer to Adam in many ways. I consider Adam Politzer to be a friend, a mentor, and an extremely great leader. I was working as a Park and Rec commissioner in the early days, many, many years ago. We go back almost 18 years. And I was lucky enough to work on Amgen. And I was lucky enough to inherit Sausalito Sister City program. And I was lucky enough to have most of these people that are on the Zoom call tonight involved in some capacity in what we do here in Sausalito. So you may think that AP stands for Adam Politzer, but it also stands for something else. Many, many years ago, we had the Politzer Prize. And I was lucky enough, and several other people, to receive this prestigious award. And the greatest thing about this award and this prize for me, because Adam always used to say, Susan, keep your eye on the prize. Listen to everyone and don't react, respond. And I did. And this is called what I call my other AP. It's called Susan Rowe, Politzer Prize, Always Possible. I believe anything is possible if you set your mind to it. And we have, and we did, and we had a great reign and a wonderful time. And Adam, I love you and your family. And I know that Crazy Pants Herbie is up there thinking about you right now, right this very minute. So he'll always be in our hearts, and you will as well. And what you've done with your administration through all of the city council members, all of the mayors, all of the staff, is you always take the high road. And you want to know why? Because it's less traveled. Thank you so much. I love you.
I love you, Susan. And with you, anything was possible and is possible. with you, Gina, and Susan Morris. I just stayed out of your way because, I mean, it was crazy what you guys would dream of and think of and make happen. That was the best times of my life working with you guys on that commission. We did some amazing things together. You went on and took Sister Cities to a whole new universe. But your friendship and loyalty and love has been constant from the day we met and will be constant to the day we leave this earth. So I love you.
Thank you, Susan. Now, Adam would tell us, throughout the days that another Adamism term that strikes with me still today that I use, and that is, if not, why not? And if not you, then who? And those things, when he said them, made us all stop and think about how we could serve better and how we could do better. So thank you, Adam. Next, we have Ray Withy, who's a former city council member. Ray, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Scott. It's tough being MC of a Zoom meeting. It's so, but well done. Thank you. Adam, I've been sort of dreading this in one respect because we've talked over the years so often, and as somebody just said a few minutes ago, what else is there to say? All I can do is go back and explain and tell you the context in which I've got to know Adam. And of course, that context is as being on the city council, right? And the city manager, as you can imagine, has a pretty special relationship with its council members. And so you get to know somebody pretty damn well. Adam, I think, got to know me fairly well, and I think I got to know Adam pretty well. And so I'm here to, if you like, bear witness to the fact that a city manager job is a really tough job. And I've done some tough jobs, and city manager job's a tough one. So I came in quickly understanding the burden that Adam was bearing and the challenge that that job took. As Todd said, you can't do that without family. And I got to meet and know Adam's family, and I realized that, of course, that's his bedrock: family, community. That gives and has given him such an enormous advantage. One of the senior management team members who left some years ago said to me, we went to lunch together for a debrief, and person said to me, you don't realize how lucky you are having a city manager who actually grew up in this town. And for some, that might seem restrictive, but for this person and for many others, you realize just how incredibly catalyzing that is, how incredible that you bring that to the table, that you've actually grown up in this community. Your family is part of this community. Community is part of who you are. I mean, come on, that's pretty important asset and strengths to bring to the table. So coming back to, okay, my relationship with Adam as city council member, I didn't know what in the hell I was doing. Coming on board as a city council member, didn't have a clue. Not a clue. I'd been in business, I'd managed teams. I knew that. I knew how to do that sort of stuff. But I didn't know anything about local government. And here was Adam, who slowly and methodically walked me through it. And then it suddenly dawned on me after a while, you know, Adam likes to use the sports analogy, and I'm going to use it too, if I may. And that is, you know, the greatest managers are coaches. You're a coach first. If you're leading a team, you're a coach. You're not trying to be the star. You're trying to make sure that everybody on the team is like operating at their full potential, can get coaching and advice at their full potential. And that's the team that Adam built. Some of the members are in this audience tonight, or here, you know, paying tribute, rightly so, to Adam. Because the fundamental thing that I quickly recognized about Adam was his ability as a superb coach style leader that actually drives the organization forward. So, okay, I realized, wow, that's great. We've got a really good leader here, knows how to run a team, knows how to manage a team, knows how to coach a team. And then Adam and I started getting into what we called the strategic discussion. You know, Adam used to joke to me, Ray, I'm really, really good. Give me a task. I'll look in the ground. I'll figure out all the pitfalls. I'll see every little hole in the ground. I'll be able to maneuver around this, and suddenly, bang, I'll walk into a tree because I wasn't looking up. And that's Adam saying, you know, okay. So what does he do? We work together, and over the years, and it's been an unbelievable pleasure to have actually been on this journey with Adam, where all of a sudden he suddenly is looking up, now connecting all the dots and figuring out, wow, I can now look up, look at what this is, look at what this job is, look at how the team is. And hey, man, that was an incredibly wonderful journey to have been on with you. And so I really thank you very much. All of the, you know, the Leadership Academy, his work with the League of California Cities, his everything comes together for me with Adam's set of values, which is to always do the fair thing, to do what's fair, to do what's right. When you've got multiple stakeholders at the table, in the end, when you're trying to come up with a solution, Adam's view is you do what's fair. And that isn't such a bad thing. Adam, it's been such a pleasure being able to work with you. I've learned so much, and I really think that your leadership has put Sausalito in a position where we're continually looked upon as leaders in the community, in the Marin community, and in the overall regional community. So thank you, Adam. You've done a fantastic job, and it's been my great pleasure to know you now as a friend as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. And I'll have more to say when it's my turn to speak a little bit more freely here. But we went from back to the basics to planning for the future, under your guidance there. So I think we all as a team here accomplished so much And it was great being a part of your team. And just thank you, for your mentorship and leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Next up, we have is Shelby Van Meter, who runs the Sausalito Beautiful Project. Shelby, you have the floor.
Thank you. Adam, hello. Can you hear me? You can hear me? Good. I have an allergy today, so I'm going to try really hard to speak up. I am so pleased to have this chance to publicly thank you for your support in Sausalito Beautiful's mission. You trusted me early on. You trusted the organization's commitment from the very, very beginning. You applauded our partnership model. By the way, I am not the leader, I was the founder, but there is a leader that has been carrying on for some time without me. You agreed that beautiful landscapes are important to Sausalito's dignity and well-being, and importantly, to the city's economic vitality. You supported our advocacy. We wouldn't have been able to succeed without you behind us. I remember early on that you promised that in 1 year, Sausalito would be beautiful. It took a little longer than that before we made some good progress, but it meant a lot to us that you had that optimism and you set the mark high. Bill Hines isn't able to be here tonight, but he and the board joined me in saying thank you so much. We have a little plaque here that we expect will find a prominent place on your awards wall. We know how important you think it is to say yes. We wish you well in your retirement and send you off with gratitude, affection, and our very best wishes. It's so good to see you. I hope our paths cross again very soon. All the very best. Take good care. Bye.
Thank you, Shelby. Yeah, you're doing a lot better than Robin was doing with way. So I think we look good there. But I remember this day as clear as day, you coming into my office and talking about how bad Sausalito was looking, and we need to do something about it. And that's when you found that Sausalito Beautiful and pitched the idea. And you are my ambassador of yes. You are about how do we get to yes. And the council supported you and the community supported you. And yes, Sausalito is now beautiful. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Shelby. And next up, we have Mike Stone of Molly Stones. Mike, you now have the floor.
Hi there. Can you hear me? Good. Adam, if I say anything wrong, don't correct me, okay? Kristen, I want to acknowledge you because behind every great man is a great woman. So thank you for all the support you gave for Adam over all these years. I hired Adam as a greeter for the store. So he's going to start Monday in case anybody wants to see him and come to the store. He's very excited about it. Adam was an expert in putting out fires, but anybody who loves putting out fires is either a fireman or an arsonist. And he put out many, many fires, but I'm not sure he liked it all the time. I must say we had a lot of fun times over the last 20 years. I don't know if anyone ever asked Adam if he had more fun being city manager or in Park and Rec. I could tell you the answer right now. It was definitely Park and Rec. We had many discussions and planning for the art festival, one of which was at the old police building. One of the old board members let him have a piece of his mind and wanted to lock him up in one of the cells. But if he would have had the key, he would have done it. But I kind of bailed him out. So hopefully he remembers that. We had many good times, and Adam helped make events in Sausalito fun. When the tour of California was brought to Sausalito, as Dennis, alluded to earlier, Adam was intimately involved. Yoshi, Greg, Jeff, and Adam put on a gala that was super fun. The first year they did it, I was walking out at the end and it was pretty late at night. And the four of them had their heads in the trash cans. And I said, what the heck are you guys doing? Well, they borrowed all the silverware from the Spinnaker, and all the people threw away their plates and the silverware, and they had to go through all the garbage cans to get out the silverware. Probably took them a couple hours, 2-3 hours to get out the silverware. I'm sure Adam remembers that. I know a majority of you at some point have been in Adam's office and have seen the collection of baseballs. Adam was a very good pitcher in his younger years. You've kind of all alluded to how good he was in his reference to sports and baseball. He loved baseball, and that made him a perfect city manager. Why? He had 5 pitches: a fastball, a curveball, a changeup, a screwball, and a knuckleball. When he got the job as city manager, he became the catcher, though, and Mary was the umpire. On the back side of the balls on his shelf, he labeled, and I'm sure you guys never turned over the baseball, he labeled each council person. If they were a straight shooter, it would be a fastball. If he threw him a curveball, he would catch it. If someone changed their minds all the time, it would be a changeup. Then he had the screwballs and the knuckleheads. He could identify the pitch and was able to do the job for 13 years. The longest city manager ever to do the job. And I'm absolutely convinced it was because of his baseball experience, of understanding what was coming at him. I mean, how else can you handle the job when your bosses change every 2 years? Adam was a winner. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Herbie, as he was Adam's biggest advocate for the job. Paul alluded to that earlier too. And Herbie even tried to sell me on why Adam would be the best guy for the job. I said, Herbie, I don't have a vote. I vote for him. I don't have a vote. So, but he was your biggest advocate. I know he was proud of you. If he was here today, he would say something like, it was a great trip, Adam. To a caring, genuine, honest, smart, thoughtful guy, thank you. And how lucky the city of Sausalito was to have you. We love you guys.
Love you, Mike. And everything you said was accurate. Gave away all my secrets there. Love you, Mike. And I look forward to serving at your store and wiping down all the carts before people come in. Hopefully they give me a good review. I need a good review.
Thank you, Mike. That was great. Next up for speakers, we have Felicia Gaston. She's the Marin Performing Stars coordinator and a strong community partner. Felicia, you have the floor.
Hello. Hi, Adam. Hi, everybody. I am Felicia Gaston. Thank you very much. The Executive Director of Performing Stars, which is a nonprofit organization based in Marin City. However, we serve children and families throughout Marin County through providing enrichment programs and all types of activities and events. Adam has been a true friend. He's been a partner, a community partner to our Marin City community. I know he went to school with quite a few people here, and he maintains that friendship. I would like to just bring out something that was super special for me is when between 2007 to 2011, our organization had a chance to bring the original Tuskegee Airmen to Marin City. And Adam was so instrumental making things happen. As a matter of fact, that's how I just know him is like, just make it happen. And the Tuskegee Airmen, they were so deserving of all the accolades that they received. They love being in Marin City. They love the way Sausalito treated them. Adam made it possible for, it was 20 of them and their wives. They were able to stay at the Casa Madrona Hotel. We had dinner at the Spinnaker restaurant. Adam participating in the parades. He made it possible for James Gabbard to bring the C-41 original World War II plane to Marin City. I mean, it was just the best experience. And again, the Tuskegee Airmen, it was something that they would never, ever forget. And all of them lived up to the time when George Lucas movie came out. They lived up to that. It was like they finally got their true honor, especially receiving the Congressional Gold Medal. It was just so important for them to be here. And the fact that Adam made it possible, it just was just that, I call it our Georgia hospitality. Adam also was instrumental in a project that Performing Stars started 10 years ago called the Phoenix Project. And at that time, Marin City had been going through lots of issues with our Black males. Every time we picked up the newspaper, we were reading about Black males and the crime issues. Adam with his connections again. We just formed the Phoenix Project, and today this program is still existing. It's a unique program because it involves all the law enforcement to particularly wrap their arms around, not wrap their arms, but wrap around services for our males so they can be successful. We include the Sheriff's Department, the Probation Department, the Public Defender, and the District Attorney. And that's really unusual because you don't get law enforcement and to work with Black males because all of us had the same goal. We wanted to make things happen for these men, and this program is very, very successful. I would like to say again that last year, but just before when Adam announced his retirement, at least he let me know he was still instrumental in making things happen for our community. I wanted to do an event on Halloween and drive-in movie night, and he also made that happen. And he made sure that he made sure that Mike Langford and all the connections, I mean, we got the whole baseball field striped. And again, that was Adam making things happen. He's also was talking to me and others about setting up a mentorship program. So I'm hoping, after you read some, Adam, but we definitely want to get some of that training that you have really, that made you so successful. I would like to end with a quote from a favorite poem of mine growing up in Georgia, and it's called The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. And it reminds me so much of Adam. Two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. And I'll do the last stanza. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverge in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. And that really reminds me of Adam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Felicia. There's a handful of people on this call that have the same theme here, which is about just getting stuff done. Felicia, you're a superwoman with what you've done for so many people, young to old, in our community. It's been a blessing to know you. I can't wait for this next journey where you and I are going to continue to work together on so many fun things for those that need some leadership and guidance and direction and opportunity. But one of the things that was always moving to me, and you never saw me cry, but every time that I would bring my girls to work at the Toys for Kids drive that you would do in Marin City, and I would walk around with one of these young little kids, because you wouldn't let the adults in. They would go with the adults in there, the volunteers. I would be dripping with tears, so grateful of what you've done and what you've created for these little kids that were going without, you know, the simplest things, and watching their faces and so excited to be able to choose these toys. You're an amazing person. We talk about the big things that you've accomplished and that you're part of, your 30th anniversary here of Performing Stars, and how many stars you have created. I love you, and I can't wait to continue working with you. Thank you so much for your friendship.
Thank you. Means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Felicia. Next up, we have Yoshi Tomei, owner of Sushi Ron Restaurant. Yoshi, you are up.
Hi all, good to have you. We'll see you all. Adam, we met each other beginning of 2000. Sorry, my background is a little noisy at the restaurant. So anyway, we start from Caledonian Street Fair. 2001, we talk about 2001ness all together town. What do you do? The 2002 will be togetherness at our teams to working together at the Caledonian Street Fair, so on. And then that was the beginning to get to know each other. I agree with Mike. I think that's you had more fun when you're a parkour director. City manager had nothing but to follow the pain in the butt. Listen to Sausalito, nobody has opinion. All the politicians, everybody else. You have an incredible patience to listening, sitting late night meetings. So I could not able to do it. So anyhow, we get to know each other, think about a business. And I talked to Adam and said, hey, Adam, you have a toughest job. You know, I can be nice to the customer. If I don't like a customer, I can fire them. I can let them go. I don't have to serve them. Employee, I don't like it, I can fire them. But you cannot fire anybody. Now, instead of you cannot fire anybody, you fired us. So you don't have to serve for us, Adam. That's our loss. But you know, over the years, what he had done is that everybody mentioned about the very incredible job. What Mike said in 2005, when we had toured California, it is true. Event over, opening gala night, and Jeff Shiraz and Chris Christie, Adam Politzer, myself, and Paul Anderson was there too, digging into the dumping cold night. After 12 o'clock midnight, they dig into the garbage, looking for the silverware. We're taking out everything out to do it. After a little while, Paul Anderson come to me, hey, Yoshi, let's young start to do it. Myself and Paul went to Northern, went to drinks. And those four guys, three guys stuck with cleaning up all night long. That was get to know you are truly service-oriented serve for everybody, Adam. I don't think we paid enough yet to clean up all the, dig out the garbage bins and paid for. It's a true story. And that's why I know that really you do a great job you have done. And then also be at the restaurant point of view is whenever you walk into the restaurant, you get the good service, good food. I could walk into the restaurant, 3 minutes, I could tell how well organized the restaurant is. I will get the good service. I will get the good food. I can feel the energies. I can apply to the city of Sausalito. After Adam took over as the city manager, 2008, 2010, all this department head, everybody get together how he liked to run it. Walk into City Hall looking for the service. I could feel the difference. I can get the service. I can get the attention. Nobody point the finger to me. Not running around. That's a really tribute to the Adam. And I have mentioned to the department people, thank you for whatever it is. Many of them, it's Adam. It's Adam. So thank you for Adam. You have done a great job. And then go back to the beginning. We went to Calgary football game together, talk about the dollars. I have a $3, he has a $3. And then we're busy so much, we could not get together much of that. And I went to baseball together, so on. But anyhow, now you have a free man. Maybe we can get together to go to the ball game and spend more time privately. So good luck with what you have done, service to the Sausalito. And again, beginner meeting, somebody mentioned about the first meeting saying, yeah, I did a babysitter for the Adam. Tell the city manager, I know that kids, when he was grew up with it, the service to that kind of town, what he had done over the 10 years, that's an incredible service to everybody. And we all beneficial, all the residents, business people, you put together a very functional, great city to work everybody together. Thank you. And you need it for all the accolade everybody talk about it, all deserve it. We're gonna miss you, but enjoy for the new direction. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you, Yoshi. And I know that Jeff's on the call here too. So Kristen and I would bring the family to the Spinnaker, but Kristen and I would come to Sushi Ron just for date night. So yeah. Yoshi, thank you for date night tonight. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
One thing that Yoshi didn't mention is that the first year the Caledonia Street Fair was 2001-ness, because that was the first year of the street fair. The second year was 2000 and togetherness, but we didn't think it was appropriate for the third year to be the 2003 some. So we couldn't come up with a theme, so we just left it alone.
That's true.
Thank you, Yoshi. Thank you for your friendship. We did a lot of fun things together.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yoshi. Next up, we have Joan Cox, the former city council member. Joan, you now have the floor.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you to all of the amazing folks we've heard speak this evening. I see that Adam is our final speaker, so I will do my best to keep this brief because I know our final speaker will probably not be so brief. In all seriousness, when I was brainstorming regarding qualities for a new city manager, I thought about what qualities Adam brought to the job that made him so effective. As a municipal lawyer, I work with many city and general managers, and Adam is definitely the best I've ever encountered. Many city managers have a limited shelf life due to politics. And even though Sausalito is well known for being a very political town with very passionate views on different sides of various issues, Adam enjoyed a very long shelf life. That is a testament to his many talents and abilities. Whip smart, but never condescending. Strategic, but never cagey, always a straight shooter. Able to look at the 10,000-foot level, not get stuck in the trees. Able to see how all the puzzle pieces interrelate like a Tetris game. And so he was often able to kill 2 or 3 birds with one stone and devise holistic solutions to regional challenges. An amazing listener, able to hear criticism without taking it personally, compassionate to a fault, he has a heart of gold, and he is a loyal and strong leader who's a fierce advocate and supporter of those he leads. Herbie Weiner was a dear friend of many of us on this call, and Herbie always shared that one of his greatest accomplishments was the city council decision to hire Adam, and I could not agree more. One of Adam's best qualities that he brought to the job is his love of Sausalito, and that was something he and I shared. One of the greatest compliments Adam paid me in our work together is when I was first elected to the council, he said he was re-energized and excited to see what we could accomplish. And boy, did we get to work. One of my favorite things to do was to blue sky problem solve with Adam. We made so many impossible things possible by thinking creatively. One of the things we did very well was build relationships. As I liked to say, we built bridges, not walls. And for that reason, Adam was not just Sausalito's city manager, he was a powerful regional leader. One way he was able to be so effective was because of all of the relationships he built over the years, from growing up here in Sausalito to working his way up the ladder to all of the various roles he and now his children have throughout Marin. One of my flaws is I tend to be all work and no play, but I am blessed that Adam was not just my city manager, he became my friend. For 4 years, we spent an hour nearly every Monday morning meeting about city issues. And when you're in the trenches together, as we confronted landslides, a pandemic, homelessness, and other impossible issues, including the passing of some of our favorite friends and city leaders, we of course became friends. So although I am disappointed at Adam's retirement, I'm ever so grateful to have gained a lifelong friend. And I'm quite confident we will continue to support one another as each of us continues to pursue our various endeavors in those areas where we most want to make a difference. So this is not farewell, Adam, simply congratulations as you transition to your next great adventure. And I know you will not just succeed, but thrive in whatever you choose to do. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Joan. Your mayorship there was no option. We were going to do so much because that was how you are built. And everything is possible, and you made that so. Up until that point, Ray Withy, as Mary talked about statistics, I kept notes on how many times I met with council members and who called me or emailed me the most. And Ray Withy was right up there at the top of the leaderboard until you joined the council, and then you wiped him right off. But it was a pleasure, you know, and I enjoyed every moment working with you. And obviously I can't wait, you know, to see what this next chapter of my life is going to look like. But you clearly, your friendship will be important to me. And as I told Dan DeSmit, I see an opportunity where you and I'm sure will work on something together as we continue to battle some of these big issues here in our county and here in Northern California. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your leadership. It was a blast. Not always easy, but a blast.
Thank you, Joan. Next up, we have Jim Irving, the former fire chief in the Southern Marin Fire Protection District. Jim, you have the floor.
Great. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Looks like perfect. Thank you. First, I want to say it's so cool to see so many people on here that I haven't seen in years. You know, it's like kind of like old home week. I really appreciate this, you guys putting this together. When I became fire chief, Adam had been the city manager for, I think, a year or two. And the relationship between Sausalito and the fire district wasn't really doing all that great at the time. There's a lot of issues going on. I didn't know Adam all that well, but we had been working together before I became chief to try to sort out some of the issues that were plaguing the two agencies. And we started building a level of trust. And Adam was just, you know, a very straightforward, let's figure out how do we fix the problem? Let's not try to assign blame here. Let's just fix it and move on. And I believe it, you know, once I finally became fire chief, I think it was like 2 days later, I got a call from Adam and he seemed very distressed. And he asked what the hell the district was doing. And I was like, what are you talking about? and he said that he had received a letter canceling the JPA between the city and the district. And I was like, what are you talking about? and you know, he sent me a copy of this letter and I was just blown away because the district board had actually sent a letter without letting me, the fire chief, know what they had done. And so I met with Adam and I said, you know, give me an opportunity to try to fix this. And so we met with Jonathan Leone and Mike Kelly at the time, and Adam talked them into letting me try to fix this and trusting me to do this. And, you know, without Adam believing in me, you know, in this and giving me that trust, you know, this whole thing probably would have gone down in flames at the time. You know, ultimately we worked it out, you know, based on trust. And maybe it was because both Adam and I went to Tam High School, and you know, we're a couple of hometown boys just trying to make things right. But that became the cornerstone of our relationship. Throughout the years, our two agencies worked together and built on that level of trust. And I knew that I could always trust Adam to do the right thing. He cared about people. He would always do the right thing to take care of people, whether they were citizens, whether they were employees, or whether people in neighboring communities. And the guidance that Adam gave me over that time helped me to succeed. I really appreciated that. Since I retired in 2014, I've had the pleasure of seeing Adam on a regular basis up until the beginning of the pandemic, of course. Dennis Screeman mentioned that the March Madness. As of a couple of days ago, I was in the lead of the basketball pool. I never can remember whether it's basketball, football, or what have you. I'm not a big sports guy, but I know nothing about basketball. But Adam sent me an email explaining all the ways that I could win or lose. And I kind of read it over. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even understand any of this. But I trusted Adam to watch over this for me. And I still don't know if I won or lose. And I imagine I'll find out at some point. But Adam, I wanted to say, I thank you for your trust, your guidance, and your friendship over the years. And I do look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Thank you, Jim. Well, we might as well just get it out of the way, just so everyone knows the pool that Dennis mentioned and Jim mentioned. I'm in very last place. And everybody in the pool knows nothing about basketball except for me. And I'm in last place. I think one year Jim filled out the women's bracket, not knowing there were two different brackets. And he probably won and did better than me in that bracket. Jim, there's not enough time or words here. Obviously, working together during those difficult times with Southern Marin, the council and the board changed during that time. And I think the council deserves a lot of credit for how we move forward. Mike Kelly and Jonathan Leone in particular, Herbie, Ray Whippy joined as a volunteer. I think that was one of his volunteer times, working, I think, with Jackie Cudler, on the campaign, with several other people leading that. But Jim, your friendship, your professionalism, obviously, if we didn't trust that Southern Marin Fire was a good organization to join, that conversation would have ended that partnership. So thank you for your leadership in our community. And I look forward to many years of our friendship.
Did I win the pool?
There's games tomorrow.
Oh,
tournament's still going.
Okay. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Jim. Next up, we have Ruby Wilson. Ruby is Adam's second grade teacher. She's also later became the principal at Bayside MLK and has stayed in touch with the relationship with Adam throughout many years. Ruby, are you there? Ruby?
I think she's on the phone, Scott.
Okay.
So she might need to be muted. There she is.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. You're up, Ruby. Go ahead.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. I taught Adam when he was in second grade. That was a long time ago. I can still see his smile from the back of the room. Now, I have taught in 3 different states and the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. And I want to say this about Adam's mother. She was one of the most supportive, kind, and understanding parents of all. Now, Adam was a very good student, kind to others and to all. Now, I was not a singer, so I taught a lot of sayings, like treat people kindly, do what is fair. If you know better, do better. If it is to be, it's up to me. And when I retired, Adam came and he spoke. when he got up to speak, he said that I had taught him, don't be rude, crude, and uncouth. And I thought to myself, oh, that's negative. Adam went on to say, I teach my daughters not to be rude, crude, and uncouth. So I guess it wasn't negative after all. So I want to say to you, Adam, and all of you there, don't be rude, crude, and uncouth. I love you, Adam, and I'm proud of you, and I've followed you down through the years. Thank you for allowing me these few words. Goodbye.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you, Ruby. And you taught me so much, you know, and as you talked about my mom, you know, you were the same person, kindness, respect, treat others as you want to be treated, and look for the best in everyone. And that was one of your main influences on me, is everyone has something to give. And you just, as Felicia has done, give people the opportunity to be in the spotlight and shine. They will surprise you with their goodness. And you were one of those people in my life. I remember, it's funny how you can remember certain things. I can remember being in your classroom, and rude, crude, and uncouth stayed with me forever. And kindness and respect and being held responsible for your actions meant something. So thank you. I love you. I love that, you know, there's a couple of people, Leonard Caprillion and Ruby Wilson and a couple others that would call me every so often, and I would light up with a great smile. This is Ruby Wilson, your second grade teacher. And I want to tell you that I am so appreciative of, or I am so thankful of, or you're doing a great job. Ruby, I love you and I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruby. That was great. Well, we have truly saved the best for last. We have Adam's daughters, Hannah, Sydney, and Josie. The three of you have the floor, girls.
Thanks so much. Can everybody hear me okay? Awesome. So hi, Dad. I'm gonna keep my comments brief, and luckily I didn't inherit your skill of keeping your comments brief. So I just wanted to say quickly, thank you for being a role model to me in many aspects of my life. And I think I'm actually truly appreciating the example you've set for me now that I've been following in your footsteps and working in local government. It takes a great coach to be able to coach 3 young daughters, and you did that well. And from hearing from your colleagues and friends, you were a great coach in the office as well. And I'm just excited that you're going to continue coaching in your consulting career that you have in retirement now. I think it's one of the best gifts that you have to offer, and I've been very lucky and very selfish to have it all to myself for all these years, but I'm excited to see where you're headed. In the meantime, though, sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, because you've really deserved this rest that you've had. So thank you and love you very much.
Love you, Hannah. Thank you for those kind words. Like I said about Jonathan Logan, this is the future right here. You guys watch out. You'll see Hannah Politzer. You know, she's a hard worker and passionate about what she does. And Mill Valley's lucky to have her. Sausalito, you might want to recruit her for something. But anyway, Hannah, I love you. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, I guess it's my turn. Well, I'll keep this short and simple, but I mean, Dad, you're incredible. Like, you just see all these people saying all these nice things about you and how you've impacted their lives and how you've been able to be such a strong leader in this community. And I mean, it's crazy to think that now you're retiring and being so influential towards all these people. But I mean, kind of like Hannah said, like I was super spoiled to have all of your mentoring and your coaching for life and sports and just how to handle and how to hold yourself. And it's these lessons that you've taught us all growing up and how we are going to carry ourselves later on in our lives. And I mean, it means the world, and it means the world how hard you worked, because your day never ended once you left the office. Your day kept going. You brought the office with you back home, if anything, for several hours. And you would also sit through my basketball practices, sending emails, sending texts, calling your coworkers. So, I mean, you had a perfect balance of work and family. And I mean, I'm so lucky to call you my dad and to have someone like you in my life. And I miss you so much.
Thanks, Ed. I love you. Thanks for joining me from Colorado. Can't wait to have you back. Another person, you guys keep your eye out for. Mike Stone talked about me as a winner. Sydney, I mean, my girls are all winners, but Sydney refuses to lose. She will find solutions for everything. She's also nicknamed as the Walking Good Time. Sid, is the good time girl, and you make our family so much more fun when you're here with us. I love you. Thank you.
So thank you, Dad, for always being there and always being hardworking and always supporting me in anything I do, whether it's basketball, softball, or even cheer. Help me practicing with it. I guess when you said that you've always had hundreds of friends, you were actually telling the truth, seeing all these people here. And I'm gonna miss all the traditions we had with being in the parade and going to your office and getting lunch. Those were always the best times, being at your office. And I guess being mayor of the day is way better than being principal for the day. I outshined all those people. And thank you for always being there and helping me and always supporting.
Love you, Josie. Josie, just a quick story on Josie. So Josie's a cheerleader. She also plays basketball and softball. Hannah was softball first, Sydney was basketball first, and then Sydney and Hannah both played tennis. But Josie volunteered me to do the team video at the end of the year banquet for cheer. And I do a lot of video, but I don't know how to put together a cheerleading end of the year party video. And it was so much fun. And so anyway, so I go to the football games and everyone else was watching the football players in the game. And I got video going on the girls. So this cheerleading team will have the best video end of the year video than any of the sports teams anywhere. Josie is another one of these kids that figures things out, and just another pleasure. Obviously, just a sophomore in high school here, but I love you, Joe. Josie's nickname was at an early age was the little can of whoop ass. No one was going to boss her around, especially her two big sisters. So love you, Josie. You're a stud. Keep up all the great work. And I think my wife would like to say something.
Yeah, it wasn't on the agenda, but I just wanted to say a quick couple words. But this has been incredible. And now I'm getting choked up. But for 24 years, Hannah's 24. We've kept our heads down and worked really hard. Both of us worked full time and raised 3 girls. I traveled and commuted, and we don't talk about work because we're too tired, I think. And so hearing all these words and talking about this has been really special. So thank you. In fact, I'm getting texts from my family saying, oh my God, I had no idea that Adam was so incredible. I mean, we know, but we don't talk about what we do. But I will say this last year during the pandemic, I couldn't get him to stop working. It was driving me crazy. We both were working incredibly hard. We were very blessed to have a job to work. So I don't want to take that out of context, but he would say he was going to cook dinner and he would be downstairs on the phone or on the computer till 8 and 9 o'clock at night, which obviously, you know, we needed to eat before that. And we were both just exhausted from working. And, you know, the one gift that this retirement has given me is he's home and he's kind of like, we call him our Manny because he makes dinner, he plans dinner, and he picks Josie. I just wanted to say that, you know, I don't know how, if you all understand, he worked 24 hours a day often. And I think, I don't even think I realized it until I was home with him every day during the pandemic. And so he loves Sausalito, and I actually, we live in Green Bay, but I consider Sausalito our home because of, for so many reasons. So thank you all for spending a Friday night at a retirement party. We appreciate it, and we wish it could be in person, but it's not. But hopefully we'll be able to have a celebration at some point. So thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Now, before I turn it over to Adam here first, I just have a couple final words that I want to share about Adam. And I know that so much has been said already, but for me, I want to thank Adam for his friendship, for always showing respect, for being caring, dedicated. He's results oriented and fun. But most importantly, the thing I take away most from working with Adam is always feeling like I'm a better human just for knowing you. So thank you, Adam. And with that, I'm going to ask you for your over under before you get started, because I want to win one of these over unders.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for your comments and your nice words there. Just for everyone's benefit, at our staff meetings, we would have an over-under bet if we would be done in 90 minutes or not. And so I finally figured out that soccer got it right. You know, you'd watch a soccer game and the game would come to the end of time, but the time would then keep clicking. And that was for all the wasted time during the soccer match with the ball going out of bounds or what have you, injuries, flopping, whatever. And so I figured out my staff meeting now would have soccer time. We would add time to my meeting. So the over under was always under my control. And I think I won most of them based on soccer time. Yeah, I mean, this has been incredible. I just can't thank you all enough for your time tonight and all the nice words. You know, trying to figure out who is going to speak and was impossible. 13 years as the city manager, 20 years, you know, many of those with Park and Rec, which was all community partnerships and activities, as Mike Langford and Julie knows. I mean, you're out in the community most of the time in Park and Rec, you know, scraping and scrapping, trying to get people to, you know, to join you and help you run your programs and services. But I got to start by thanking, you know, my parents, obviously, my mom, who's no longer with us, but my dad, who's on the show tonight, you know, who's on the show. I think our council meetings have always been a show to me. But on their Zoom meeting tonight, I just think it's really coincidental that, you know, my dad was on the planning commission forever and involved in politics forever. And, you know, he was part of the Marinship specific plan and he was part of the general plan. And here we are this many years later. And I walk away from the city with the general plan. The council, I think, has taken action on approving the general plan and moving forward. So complete circle where the last 4 or 5 years of my life, we've been working on the general plan. You know, Robin, one of the things I recruited Robin was to be the chair of the Marineship, Marineship Steering Committee. And that was what kicked off the discussion, if in fact we were even going to take on the general plan. And we reached a conclusion that we needed to update the general plan. Bill Werner, I think from the first, Bill Werner was on the planning commission when I joined the council, or joined the city, and it was appointed by the council. But I came back from the League of California Cities training for new mayors and council members, not city managers, council members. And I was there with all the council members from everyone else from the county. And somehow Bill Werner and I ended up talking, and he was the only one that was supporting me that we needed to update our general plan. And in fact, we had a joint meeting of the council and the planning commission, and Bill asked the council to take on this effort. It took us a lot of years, and as Robin has shown, some things move slowly at City Hall. But clearly it was something that this council and the past council worked on very hard, and in the leadership of Joan and Ray and Jill and Susan and Tom Riley and Joe Burns and Janelle and Melissa and Ian. Got us to the end of something that my dad worked on back in the 80s, which is incredible. So Dad, thank you for all your love and support. It wasn't politics in Sausalito. It was just Sausalito. That's how it's always been. My dad ran for council back, I don't know, in early 60s, I guess. And that's just, it's just Sausalito. Dan Williams was on earlier. And next to my dad, Dan Williams was the most influential person in my life. 13 years with Dan. And as he said, I stumbled into Lucy Stern Community Center in Palo Alto, applying for a job. And he's the director of Parks and Open Space and Sciences, Recreation, Open Space and Sciences. And he had the thoughtfulness, overhearing the conversation, to say, I'll interview you. Which director interviews a part-time college kid? But Dan did. And to this day, he left a voicemail on my message that said, we want to hire you at $7.42 an hour. I was so excited. They're going to pay me $7.42 an hour. It was amazing. Here I was, junior in college, and the director offering me a job. The other story about Dan is that they interviewed for that coordinator in 91. And it was probably in 90, and the process probably started well in the early part of 90 or the later part of 90. And there was 8 in-house candidates, all talented people. I mean, incredible people applying for this one position. And they were going to take the top 3. Well, guess what? The panel had me number 4. I was rated number 4. I wasn't so special after all. But Dan saw something in me, and he said that I was a diamond in the rough, and pulled me forward to the next round of the finalists, and obviously got the job, and that was the end. So Dan, I can't thank you enough for your mentorship, for your friendship. I appreciate you not talking about the bachelor party. Dan was on my bachelor party. My dad drove us in the bachelor party. If there was anyone worse of a driver than Scott Paulin, was my dad. and he was driving a 15-passenger bus with my father-in-law and my boss driving us. We had a great time, and Dan looked after me then. I will say this about Dan talking about my wife, Kristen. What he left out is I had only known her for 3 days, and I knew I was going to marry her. I met her, went on 3 dates, and that's what worried Dan was, holy smokes, you just met her. Why don't you calm down? I know she's beautiful and smart and everything, but you just met her. Well, we got married 2 years later. We got engaged, at a concert in Palo Alto that I put on called Funky Junction. I think Avita and Adila are on this call, the most talented people that I've worked with. Avita is the most creative person, the kindest person next to my wife, the kindest person that I've ever met, and incredibly talented. Adila was a force to be reckoned with. So Avita did all of our at-risk camps and youth programs. And Adila did our middle school sports program. And that was a tough program. We ran all the middle school sports in Palo Alto, and Adila had everyone's attention working there. My one story about Adila and Avita is that we were working with East Palo Alto because they were having some rough times in East Palo Alto back then in the 90s. And we were tasked to run their sports camps and after school programs. And I told them that they had the assignment, and they just looked at me like, you have to be crazy. Adila is from East Palo Alto. So to me, I didn't understand why I'd be crazy. So there's a reason why I'm working for the city of Palo Alto, not the city of East Palo Alto. But we did amazing things there. After school basketball, late night basketball. We did some incredible things. Dan DeSmit talked about shared services. When you worked in Palo Alto with Stanford University there, you knew that you had to work with shared services because you had such a rich environment with Silicon Valley and Stanford University there. We did some incredible things. I learned so much from the people that I worked with in Palo Alto. So thank you. And thank you, Dan, from the bottom of my heart for all of your mentorship and guidance. Dan didn't say much, but you just watched him, and a lot of the things that Todd talked about in terms of being able to listen and bring people together, I learned that by watching Dan Williams, so thank you. To the council, going back to Paul Albritton and Mike Kelly and Jonathan Leone and Amy Belser and Herb Weiner. I remember at the interview, Paul asked me what if I lasted 10 years, what would I want to be remembered for? And we were at the Trident having lunch. Part of the interview process was each council member had 2 or 3 hours with the candidate. And Paul asked me that question. And I said, I hope to be remembered for making a difference. I think we made a difference. I think as a team, again, it's not one person. Collectively, I think working together with that council, with Paul and Amy and Mike and Jonathan and Herbie, we clearly got off on the right start and moved forward aggressively on a lot of things. And I think we made a difference. You then joined with Carolyn and Linda, with Herbie and Mike and Jonathan, and that was the fire consolidation. I think we made a difference. Then Ray and Tom Theodoris joined the team. Absolutely made a difference. One of my favorite moments was going to the League of Cities dinner with Tom Theodoris and learning about Tom Theodoris, an incredible talent and resource and leader in our community. And Ray, again, another very humble person that doesn't talk about his exceptional experience and leadership skills that he brought to the council back in his day was just fantastic. Then Jill Hoffman joined the team. And obviously her leadership was evident. She became vice mayor right away. And then the year after, she and I are working together as the mayor. Talking about probably the person I had the most fun with, I had the most fun with Jill. There was a few things that we wouldn't talk about because we totally didn't agree on them, but 90% of everything else, we had so much fun. And again, sometimes I had to say to Jill, you might want to go talk to some of the members of the community. I don't think that idea is going to be as popular as you think it might be. And sure enough, Jill would go out there and run it up the ladder and come back saying, no, they're good with this, or no, thanks for the heads up on that, and onward. But I had a ton of fun with Jill, as that council evolved and changed over that period of time. One of the things that I'm most pleased about is, as Joan mentioned, so then Joan, joins the council, but when I look back at all of these folks, Mike Kelly negotiating with me, and this is a funny story. When they were negotiating with me, they offered me to be the third highest paid employee for the city of Sausalito. As the city manager, I was going to come in at the third. You know, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. And Mike Kelly's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. But, and we negotiated, came up with the right salary and all that, and onward we went. But to me, it was like, I'm getting paid more in Belmont if I stay doing Park and Rec. And as Mike Stone said, that was, Park and Rec, everybody loves you. No one's complaining. So anyway, I just loved working for each of the council members. Mike Stone, you got it right. There were change-ups and curveballs and fastballs and a few knuckleballs that had come my way. But I was ready for it. And I have my dad to thank for that. I have Jack Christ. He was the city manager in Belmont. When I told him I was going for the job in Sausalito, we went to lunch a couple times every week, and he just was coaching me for that 3 or 4 months preparing for the job. This is hard. It's there's an impossible number of people to thank. It's like the music is playing in the background here at the Oscars. I'm so blessed to have worked with this team. Seeing Danny Castro, here, our community development director, Jeremy Graves. One of the things that I shared with Mike Monsef one day, that he came into my office upset about something. And I said, hey, Mike, before I became the Park and Rec director, or before I became the city manager, we had 6 community development directors in 6 years. Jeremy Graves was there for 6.5 years. One of the things that the council asked Amy and Paul and Mike and Jonathan and Herb, we need some stability. And so that's what I was able to bring. Jonathan Goldman, he said to me when I hired him, he says, I only stayed places for 5 years. Well, Jonathan stayed for 10. Charlie Francis, who was already retired, said, I'll work for you for 3 years. We'll get things going. Charlie worked for 7 years with me. You got Mary Wagner on here that, what are you on, Mary? Like 19 years, with the city. So we brought stability, to the team. And I think, when you look at Paul Albert and Amy Belser, who had been on the council, for multiple terms, and obviously Ray being on for 8 years, that stability in the leadership team of the managers obviously made a big difference. Mike Langford, been our Park and Rec director for 10 years. One of the things that Una Kavanaugh on year 2 just called me and said, thank you, Mike. Wanted to thank Mike because on the weekends, on chamber events, he would come and help the Chamber of Commerce. You talk about the chamber and the partnership with the chamber, Larry Mendel, his son, Michael, Jeff Sharash, Tom Gangitano and Gene Hiller. I mean, there's this, Alberto Pinto. I don't know if people remember Alberto, but Alberto and Michael Lappert at the same meeting, you didn't hear any F-bombs from Todd Cusimano to May, but Alberto Pinto and Michael Lappert at the chamber meetings, there was, at some point, I think Yoshi was embarrassed and had to tell them to clean up their language because of how they were speaking at their meetings. But we found a way to come together and work together, and we did some incredible things along the way. Mike Stone talked about thanking Kristen for supporting me. I have to thank Kristen for so much more. Kristen worked for Coca-Cola for 20 years and was traveling the country calling on Safeway, and she was in Atlanta more times than sometimes it felt like more times in Atlanta than she was here, but traveling a ton. She had a big job, and I was there supporting her. I would tell people I was coming to work to relax because raising 3 little girls, the 2 of us together, was hard work. So when I told Senator McGuire, Welcome to Parenthood, his life is going to change. Everybody here who has children knows, it has to be family first. It can't not be family first. And I told the council that when they hired me, every jump ball is going to the family. I'll know when I have to be there, and I will be there. I'll miss birthdays, I'll miss celebrations, because you have to. That's just part of life. That's any job, right? But when there's an option, I'm going to be at my kids' practice. I'm going to be at my kids' game. I'm going to coach girls softball for 16 years. And one of my best memories is coaching with Joe Burns and his daughter Annika, and watching that Annika is now pitching for TAM, the best school in the district, by the way, even though all three of my girls went to MC. Having the opportunity to coach Sloan Goldman, Jonathan's daughter, in the second grade. Talk about Ruby Wilson. I can say to Sloan for the rest of her life, I was your coach in the second grade. I saw your potential. So it is about coaching. It is about having fun. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with the council. I don't know if JR is on the call, but JR would host dinners and invite the council and the management team to his house for dinners. We just had, our management team. We just had a lot of fun together. I have to thank Debbie. One of the best guidance that Mary gave me was get Debbie back into the city clerk's office. And I took Debbie out to lunch at the Spinnaker and talked her into coming back to City Hall. And that was probably the smartest thing I did. And if you ever need to know anything about Sausalito, ask Debbie. She knows the entire history. I think Vicki Nichols will give you a run for your money. And I think Heidi Scoble is probably chasing, behind Vicki. Susan Frank, obviously, Jerry Taylor. We got some amazing people. I'm going to try to wrap this up. I haven't even looked at my notes yet. So Todd, that was a good call there. Throw your notes away. But Brock Arner, as Paul mentioned, he hired me, and we met at the Olive Garden in Stonestown on 19th Avenue, and that's where he offered me the job. And then he called me a couple of weeks later and said, just so you know, I won't be here when you arrive. And then Charlotte Flynn was the city manager and handed me the key to my office and said, good luck. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the city manager's office as the interim. But Brock, again, I didn't get to work for him, but I knew who he was. And obviously I wanted to come work for him and work for Sausalito. I got to work with Dana Whitson, and then Dana, again, the best thing she did was recognize the folks that could run, let them run. And that's what Dan Williams did with me. Let me run. And Dana let me run. She let me, go as far as I could go. And I really appreciated that in Dana. Mike Fuson, he was there for 10 years. He kind of set the gold standard. That was my target. Can I get to 10 years? And I did. And that really was my goal. And I think I told Jill a few years ago, I was going to retire a few years ago. But obviously when the pandemic happened, I felt like I needed to be here and I needed to help guide the city through the budget and through that first 6 months. And I'm very glad that I did. I have lifelong friends here, Don McCory on this call, Jeff and Yoshi and Dennis and I would go to the Giants games. We'd always have an amazing meal somewhere in San Francisco because Yoshi knows everybody, and they would all go above and beyond to give us the most amazing meal. And we'd act like we were walking into Dodger Stadium, like in the third or fourth inning, because the meal went on for so long. Mary, I don't have enough words or time to thank you for all of your support. We were the perfect team. As we managed through all these years, through very difficult times, and I can always count on you to support us over the years. Support the management team, support the council, and obviously be in some pretty hairy meetings that got complicated with some of the situations we find ourselves in with various lawsuits and what have you. I see Leslie Alden on the call. Dennis talked about Charles McGlashan. Leslie and I were thick as thieves because there were so many things we were working on together at the county level. Leslie introduced me to probably 90% of the people that Todd and Dan DeSmit thought that I knew on my own. Leslie was a true champion. So I can't thank everybody and go through everybody, but I have a story for everybody that I see on the call here. The beauty of Zoom is that more people got to participate. My family in Colorado, my mother-in-law Sharon, my sister-in-laws Lisa and Holly and Rachel. My nieces and nephews are on this call. So having them on the call, my sister, who I'm so blessed to be my best friend for my entire life, and her husband and my wife, we have the best times together with our kids. And again, I just fall back to family. Having a strong family makes life so much easier and so much more enjoyable. So I just want to appreciate Amy and Herbie, who I know would have something to say and would be so proud. And next to Shelby, Amy would always send me a card on my when I got hired on my anniversary date. And the one card, if you remember, for those that have been in my office, it would have this little kid on a tricycle with his hands up in the air, just saying yes. And Amy's card would say it was the best decision that we ever made, hiring you. And I am so thankful. It was the greatest job anyone could ever have wished for. I pinched myself every day when I drive into work, as it was mentioned earlier. I was the city manager in my hometown. I got to work with the most incredible people. I got to meet the most talented, incredible people. And most, if not all of them, are my friends, are people that I will know, for the rest of my life. So thank you all for your time tonight. And I look forward when everyone's vaccinated, we'll get together and we'll have some small little gatherings and we'll really get to catch up and talk, and I'll get to thank you. So again, thank you all.
Cheers.
Here's to Adam. And we're going to unmute everybody here in a minute so everybody can say something or text and be like a real party. But I toast to Adam. Here goes to a very deserving retirement from the city of Sausalito. And now you can enjoy being with the people and doing the things you love to do most. We wish you all the best. Thank you, Adam.
Cheers to that.
Thank you, Adam.
Woo! Yeah!
Love you, Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
Congratulations,
Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
Hey.
For everything.
Thank you, Josie, Hannah, Lynn, Kristen.
Thank you. Thanks for
Adam.
coming Friday night. Enjoy your
Adam,
Saturday.
wonderful, Adam.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
My regards to your
That's
sister
up.
and father.
Each other. Run out.
Thanks, everyone. Be well. Stay safe.
Congratulations, Adam.
Congratulations, Adam.
That's Adam.
Congratulations, Adam.
Love you, Adam.
Bye.
Thanks, Ron.
Enjoy.
Hi, Julie. Jeremy, your friends need to learn on the bases on the Dodgers team. I guess they don't have a bases.
Don't get there. Don't get there.
That's
Thanks
name.
for everything.
Former planning commission. I mean, the planning director, Jeremy Graves.
Thanks, Adam.
Yes,
Great job,
I
Scott.
know.
Here he is.
Love you, Dad.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye, Adam.
Bye, Adam.
Thanks, John. Bye, Jill. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Hannah.
Jesse.
Adam.
Thanks, Jesse.
Very
Jacob.
much.
We love you guys so much. Thank you for letting us join.
Love Kristen too.
Thanks, Bob.
Let's
Very
meet
proud.
you,
Thanks,
Adam.
David.
Right here.
Thanks,
No, I
Holly.
didn't know you were that popular.
They're calling David.
They obviously didn't know you as a kid.
Spoken like a true relative.
Well, Gloria did. She's on the call. Gloria,
I'm here. You don't want to hear what I have to say, right?
love you, Gloria.
I think Mike, Jeff, and Yoshi are just happy they don't have to go pull forks out of the trash.
Yeah. I see Timmy and Sarah Jane, and thank you guys.
Hey, Adam, thanks.
Paso.
Fantastic evening, Adam. Just wonderful.
Hey, Adam, with all those females in your family, Mom used to say the worst part of being, was getting used to. Worst part of being a grandma was getting used to sleeping with Grandpa.
Okay.
Good seeing you, Big Rick.
Maybe you can turn that the other way around, buddy.
Yeah. I think you need to work on that comment just a little bit more.
Type it out, Rick. Type it out.
Well intentioned anyway.
The band, isn't the band supposed to start playing now? Aren't we supposed to be dancing? And like, come on, what's next? I mean, we should be like Adam and Kristen. I don't think we've ever met, but I just want to thank you and your daughters for just being so I don't know, gracious and generous, allowing Adam to do the crazy work that people who work in public service have to do. Yeah. And, I don't know if Todd Cusimano is still on. I live in Corte Madera. I'm so thrilled that we have Todd Cusimano as our city manager now. It looks like he has left. Too bad. I'll have to tell this to him in person, but it's hard. What people in public service, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm now a nonprofit, which is aptly named nonprofit. I'm making nothing, but that's okay. It's a hard job, and it's an incredibly rewarding job at the same time. And it takes, when there's family support for that and community support for the work, it is a joy, and it has been an absolute joy. And I do miss you, Adam. I mean, we were for a while there thick as thieves, and it was good fun. So I know that you're not actually retiring, just like I didn't actually retire either. I just left that work to do new work. And I know whatever you go to do next will be just as remarkable and fulfilling and as generous. And it's just been fun to work with you. And I look forward to whatever fun we get to do that's not that in the future. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Leslie.
Thanks, Leslie. All right, everybody. Nice to see everyone. Michael, I see you there.
Okay.
I see. Nice.
Jonathan, it's good to see you.
Hey, Adam, congratulations.
Thanks, Mary. Thanks, everybody.
I like it's available, Heidi. That was a good one.
Jonathan, thank you for your friendship, and Paul Alberton, thank you. You are a true gentleman and forgiving.
Nice job, Adam, and good job, Scott. Nice to see Mr. Politzer. Bob, always nice to see you. And
He said nice.
I won the NCAA championship. I don't
job,
know what
Don.
Jim Irving was saying, but that was it. Mary, love to see you, and we'll see you all soon.
Thanks. See you soon. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks. Great job, Scott.
Thank you. You won the over-under again, Adam.
Yeah.
It's
we
no
didn't go
fair
to
when you
midnight.
control soccer time. It's a rigged game.
I know. It took me a while to catch on to that. When he controls the meeting, he always wins.
All right, everybody. Fade to black.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Fantastic.
Good
Love
night.
you, Adam. Love you, Kristen. Hannah, Sydney.
Thanks, Jess. Bye,
Love
guys.
you guys.
See ya.
Bye,
See
Sapalo.
you all soon. See you, Dan. Thank you.
Great to see you, Dan. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott, for a great job, Mary. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.